Now, notice I had mentioned before I put 2 delays. I had another one in parallel. You'll notice I've got a 1 repeat 548 millisecond delay in there. Okay. Notice it's not going to sound much different when I turn that off. Here's with that delay on. Here's with that delay off. So it just adds a little, it fills out a little bit more this part. That's without it on. Now I'm turning that other parallel delay on. It's a real subtlety. But now you've got the first part down, and make sure you practice that a lot. You're really hard to stay on time. In fact, I was a little off time in my cover in a couple spots. You really got to stay on beat and not let that delay get you off, because the delay is not keeping the time for you. The beat of the song, the 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, that's what's keeping the time of the song for you. Make sure you try to pick up on the drums in the background and not your own guitar delay. So now let's turn off the delays and go to the next part. I'm going to show a few different variations of this and I'm not 100% sure the way Edge plays it, but I'll show you how I do it, and I think it's pretty darn close. So we've gone to this, right? 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and, right? 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Okay. Then you're gonna transition here, from here, whichever you're more comfortable with. Okay, I use this, and you're gonna go up to the 7th. It's the same type of formation, just down now on the. You're going to play the D and the G string. You're here on the 7th fret and the 9th fret. I place both these down on the G string at the same time, the 1st and the 3rd finger. Okay, and instead of hitting this E string here, you're going to hit the B on the 10th fret. Okay, so you're going to play the D and the G muted, and then you're going to hit this pinky on the 10th fret B. And it's going to be the same pattern. At least it's the same pattern the first time, and then he throws in this little lick, which we'll go through. So let me try to go through this first. I'm not going to do this without any muting. Now you're so we've done this twice. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Then switch. Now this is going to be similar to the one we just did. Okay, it's going to be 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. One and 2, lift, and then one more, 3, and then on the 3 and 4 and. Mute those strings, rest your palm of your hand on that bridge or just after the bridge. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Now you're only going to play that once though, okay? So now we have this. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So I'm going to put the first 3 parts, this twice and this once, behind us. The last time we just did this is 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Okay? But then when we do this a last time, the 4th time, or the 2nd time in this formation, it's slightly different. And I'm going to show you a slight variation because I'm not 100% sure what Edge is doing here, but I think I'm pretty close. At least between these 2 ways I'm going to show you, he must be doing it one of these ways, maybe both. You're going to go 1 and 2 and, there's the 2 and, you always do that. One more time, 1 and 2 and then on the 3 you're going to hit this pinky. Okay, and you're going to hit B, G, B, G. Okay? So 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and, okay? Now sometimes I don't play that 4 and because I need to switch here pretty quickly and get back to this formation, okay? That's the trick. I'm not sure if Edge is hitting that or not. So let me just do that slow again. 1 and 2 and when you do that 2 and, strike this and the G. So 1 and 2 and then 3 and 4 and. Okay, I'm going to palm mute. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Or 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, switch. You can skip that note if you want to, if you need time to switch back here. Okay, so 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Now, one other small, subtle change, difference here. I'm going to show you a different way. When you do the 1 and 2 and, on the 2 and, you could just hit the G. You could do 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So you can start with the G and not play both these on the 2 and. You can play the D with the G on the 2 and, or just play the G. That's what I'm trying to say. Let me do it the second way. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and if you do it that way, you can skip that last 4 and note. You can do 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Okay, so essentially the 4-note lick is G, B, G, B. And it's done on 2 and 3, 3 and 4. Got it? 2 and 3, 3 and 4. So we would get this. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. And then go back here. Or you could do 1 and 2, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Okay? Or you can do 1 and 2, both strings, and then 3 and 4 and. All I'm trying to point out is, at the end of the day, what's important is you hit this note on the 3 the last time. It's on the 3 and on the other parts of the song, right? So 1 and 2 and 3 and. So that's a 3 and. 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Switch, same thing. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Same as before, but now it's different. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and you can skip that last note if you want, if you need time to get to this. So let me play, or one more time, or you can play, you don't have to play the 2 and with both strings. You could play just the G string. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and then maybe play the 4 and. So getting that note on the 3 is important if you want to get through that riff on the right time. Let's turn on the delay. 1 and 2 and 3. Now there, what I did was, I did this. See, I did not play the 4 and beat. I just did G, B, G, B. Because it's repeating, so you don't absolutely have to have that last G in there, which would be. I just do. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Let me just do a real quick off-tempo version. Here's the on-tempo version. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. We're on tempo. Essentially, when I play too slow, then the repeat is too fast. And when I play too fast, the repeat is too slow and can't catch up. And it doesn't fall into a dotted eighth note delay. So you don't have to look at your tempo light. Once you get the feel of the rhythm and understand a dotted eighth note delay, you actually don't even have to look at a tempo because you can hear that you've got the dotted eighth note falling in the right place. So if I go too slow, one and two and three and four and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and go too fast. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3. So just start playing and speed up a little bit and fall into it. 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Now, one more tip. Edge does, on this last part here, when we do 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and, Edge sometimes plays that in 2 and 3 and 4 and, or 2 and 3 and 4, okay? He plays that clean sometimes, and more so in the newer versions he plays it clean, but he still mutes those two, the B and the G string also, and I think it sounds great when he does that. But then you got to get this palm hand down under that onto the B and the G string, which is a little trickier. It takes some practice. But here's how it sounds. There's two different ways. I'll play it clean and then muted. That's clean. Clean. Muted. Muted. So essentially you're rolling this palm and touching certain strings depending on the tone you want, okay? So I played, I think in the cover, you'll notice I was muting the strings in the beginning to give it a more quiet, subtle tone. And when the song kicked in and the lyrics were going, I played it open so that the notes would come through and bite through the rest of the bass and everything better. That's what I like to do. I like to do the muted strumming when Edge on the quieter parts of the song. So there are, I think, a complete over-analysis of bad. Yes, I know I'm a nutcase, but it just helps me learn the songs when I can explain this to myself to break it down. I think I've given you all the subtleties you need to play the song really well. Let's move on to the next parts and we'll get through the rest of the song. Hopefully that's helpful. Thanks for watching.